Welcome back to the Bad Influence Podcast, where we strip away the bullshit and dive deep into what really holds us back. Today, we're talking about something that messes with all of us. All of us. Nobody's exempt from this. I'm talking about mental biases. Oh, yes. That's the topic for today because these sneaky bastards, these freaking sneaky mental shortcuts can keep you stuck in a situation where you don't want to be in. But understanding them can help you unlock your true potential, just like it helped me. But let me ask you this, because this is a very important question for today. Ever wonder why you keep making the same fucking mistakes or why you can't break certain patterns? I asked myself that question a long time ago. And my answer is mental biases might be the reason. This is something that I had to learn. So let's break down the most common biases and how to beat them. This information could change the way you think forever, just like it did for me. But here's the thing. Mental biases are mental shortcuts our brains use to make decisions easier. So our brain is doing this, trying to help us. While it might be helpful sometimes, they often lead us astray by distorting our perception and our judgment. The worst part about this is that these fucking biases can affect your personal and professional life. They can cloud your judgment, reinforce bad habits, and keep you from seeing situations objectively. And you need to see situations objectively to create the life you want. And not doing this can lead to poor decisions. Oh, I know a lot about that. Missed opportunities, too many in my life, and unnecessary conflicts. That happens every time, right? But without recognizing these biases, you're trapped in a cycle of flawed thinking. You might keep blaming external factors for your problems without realizing that your own mind is sabotaging your own progress. But it's not a dead end. No, nothing in life is a dead end unless it's a fact of life. And I honestly believe we're in the right time. We're in 2024. We're only a few months away from 2025. I honestly think it's time to break free from these biases. Trust me, it's worth it. It is worth it. The transformation is real and it's within reach. It is within your reach. All you have to do is figure out if you have these mental biases. I remember being blinded by confirmation biases during a robotics class project. I used to go to school at one point in my life. I like robotics, AI, all about technology. So I took this class in high school. During this particular project, I ignored critical feedback, thinking my idea was foolproof. And honestly, I didn't want to ask for help because my English wasn't good. So I was like, I know what I'm doing. So it wasn't until the project failed that I realized my bias had cost me. Years later, when I went back and looked at the situation back then, I realized that it was all my fault. I should have listened. I should have tried to understand, but I didn't. And this experience, years later, taught me the importance of seeking diverse perspectives and challenging my own beliefs. Because if I had challenged my own beliefs, probably I would have done great, in my own opinion. Another bias that held me back was negativity bias. I focused so much on my failures that I overlooked my successes. This drained my motivation and confidence, and it's going to do the same thing to you. With my wife's help, I started celebrating small wins, which is something that I always talk about, and I also started learning from my own setbacks. In doing that, I started building a more balanced mindset because I was looking at things from a completely different perspective. So, let's break down some common mental biases because again, everybody has some kind of biases, and also we sometimes we don't know what exactly these are. So the first one I want to talk about is confirmation bias, which is seeking information that confirms your beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence. If you pay attention, you'll see that a lot of people have this, and you might be even doing it without realizing it. Especially right now where nobody wants to face any pushback, nobody wants to hear any feedback that literally tells them they're wrong, right? That's confirmation bias right there. Another one is anchoring bias, which is relying too heavily on the first piece of information, which is the anchor, when making decisions. Like buying a house from a shitty realtor just because someone said they were nice and shit like that. We do that all the time. I've done it. You've done it. Probably you see your friends and your family members doing it. Even your wife or your spouse could be doing it right now. The next one is availability heuristic. I know it's a big word, but that's why it's called. This is overestimating the importance of readily available information, like recent news or vivid memories. So it is hard because you don't even know what you're doing sometimes. It's all in your mind, but you have to take control of it. And the next one, and this is the last one, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is overestimating your abilities in areas where you have little competence. Like some elected leaders all over the world right now. We have seen it. There's people that have no business leadership, nothing to help, a country get better and its people to make more money and shit like that. And they're trying to lead without trying to learn. That's pretty much the Dunning-Kruger effect. And how do you fight these biases, right? That's what we want to get into right now, right? How do you fight them? That's a good question. Well, you have to start with fucking awareness. Recognize these biases and how they work. Question your own thinking and your own decisions. I know it's hard, but you have to do it. So you have to challenge your assumptions and seek diverse perspectives. Practice critical thinking by evaluating information logically and objectively. I know it sounds hard. It sounds like it's a lot of big words, but believe me, if you start doing this, you're going to see life from a different perspective. Some of the steps that actually work for me are things like keeping a bias journal to note when biases influence your decisions. This is something that I do at the end of the day, is like, what kind of biases did I use today that are keeping me from making the right decision for my life or for my wife, right? You also have to use decision-making frameworks like pros and cons. Make a list of the pros and cons of whatever you need to make the decision on. Another thing is adopting a growth mindset. Oh yes, you have to adopt a growth mindset so you can actually learn new things. Because when you adopt a growth mindset, you're committing to learning. You're committing yourself to actually growing, to learning new things. And that's something that you need in life. Another thing that helps me, and again, I'm pretty sure it's going to help you a lot, it's taking your time to gather information before making decisions. We love to make decisions while in a rush. We think that we're making the right decision, but we're not. We're not. We just hear the first piece of information. We read something like small, just like a little paragraph, and then we make our decision. How many of you have make that mistake before, right? Everyone, especially right now. Everybody's in a rush. Everybody's rushing. Nobody has time to read. Nobody has time to think. Everybody's just making irrational decisions because they're in a rush. So that's something that you need to work on, just like I did. Why? Because when you do that, you start making better decisions, and then your life starts to change, and you're like, wow, I should have done this a long time ago. That's how it feels for me. Now, you can recognize and overcome these biases just like I did, but it's not an overnight process. I wish it was, but it's not. And one of the things that you need, like I mentioned, is awareness. And you also have to put in some effort. You can unmask these hidden assholes and take control of your thinking. But you have to commit to it. You have to literally become a different person so you can rate yourself, so you can feel yourself going into these mental biases. Imagine the breakthroughs you'll achieve when flawed perceptions no longer hold you back. Again, you're going to be able to change your life. When you get of these flawed perceptions, you might do things that make you money. You might meet people that are going to help you grow. So it's important. You're not that smart. You're not the know-it-all. You don't know everything, and it's okay to learn, right? It's okay to learn. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection. Each step you take towards understanding and mitigating your biases is a victory. Celebrate your growth and continue to strive for a clearer, more objective view of the world. Again, you need this type of view to grow. You need to be objective. You need to know exactly what's the object of your life. What's your mission? What's your purpose? That's pretty much what it is. So don't let anyone tell you how to think. Not even your subconscious. You have to question it. Because when you allow your mind to just take cover, when your mind is a mess, you're going to have this type of biases. And again, they're going to hold you back, just like they did for me and just like they do for hundreds of millions of people across the world, if not billions. Especially right now with everything that's going on, this is what you need to work on. If you want to change your life, you have to see what biases are you're carrying with you. Don't allow those biases to become you. Because when you let those biases become you, when they're literally when they literally become who you are, you're going to ruin relationships. You're going to make the wrong decisions. And honestly, it's not fair for you or for the people that care about you. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining me today on the Bad Influence podcast. If this episode opened your eyes, share it with someone who might benefit from this. Because together, we can create a community of critical thinkers who are not afraid to challenge their own minds. So stay curious, stay vigilant, and keep pushing forward. Until next time, have a great day.